motion to terminate Chief Freeze.
You could feel the anger tonight at a Board of Trustees meeting in Thornton Township. The board and citizens looking for accountability.
Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard, already facing intense scrutiny following allegations of attempting to assault a federal agent, now finds herself at the center of an even bigger controversy. Illinois, reportedly a key figure in the unfolding situation, has only added fuel to the fire. Rumors have emerged suggesting that Henyard may be planning to marry while under federal investigation, further intensifying public concern about her judgment and the potential consequences of her actions. This new development has stunned observers and raised broader questions about Henyard's credibility and her ability to lead effectively. The initial assault allegations, along with the ongoing federal inquiry, have created significant tension, casting a long shadow over her tenure. Many fear that the situation could be the beginning of a deeper systemic issue that may ultimately undermine her leadership and erode public trust. As speculation runs wild, the implications for Henyard's position and the confidence of her constituents grow more uncertain. The attention surrounding her actions has become a high-stakes drama, with both political and personal elements intertwined. The rumored marriage plans have only added to the confusion, leaving many to wonder whether they are a diversion, a strategy, or a mere coincidence. The tension surrounding Henyard's every move has left Dolton in a state of suspense. As the investigation continues, the public eagerly awaits answers. At this critical juncture, concerns are mounting about Henyard's ability to navigate the complex web of challenges she faces, while retaining the trust and support of her constituents. The unfolding saga has cast a cloud over her leadership, with many questioning if she can emerge from this crisis intact.
Suburban Dalton today. First, the state comptroller has suspended some payments to the village because it had failed to follow the law by the...
Tiffany Henyard, the controversial mayor of Dolton, Illinois, is facing escalating scrutiny as multiple scandals continue to unfold, revealing a troubling pattern of corruption and mismanagement within her administration. Once seen as a rising star in local politics, Henyard's leadership has now come under intense federal investigation, and her actions are raising serious concerns about the future of both her career and the community she governs. Henyard's administration has been the subject of numerous investigations since 2021, with financial mismanagement and extravagant spending being at the forefront of the controversy. Taxpayer money has reportedly been used for lavish events, including high-end musical performances, first-class luxury travel, and other excessive expenditures. These actions have sparked outrage among Dolton residents, who have watched as their once stable village has descended into financial chaos. A staggering $3.6 million deficit now plagues the community, with no clear path to recovery under Henyard's leadership. Compounding the issue, the mayor's inability to address pressing concerns, such as the unresolved union contract for Dolton's firefighters, has further eroded public confidence. Henyard has been accused of disregarding the needs of her workforce, and reports suggest that she has actively avoided engaging with union representatives to resolve disputes. This failure to prioritize the needs of her constituents has only amplified the growing sense of frustration among residents. Meanwhile, Henyard's inner circle has been instrumental in shielding her from scrutiny, with key allies like former Deputy Police Chief Lisa Lacey reportedly helping conceal the extent of the mayor's misdeeds. Lacey, who was dismissed for misconduct but remained a loyal supporter of Henyard, is believed to have played a role in covering up financial mismanagement and other questionable activities. As the investigation unfolds, it has become increasingly clear that Henyard's administration is deeply entangled in a web of corruption, with little accountability at the highest levels. Federal authorities are now zeroing in on Henyard's financial dealings, with reports suggesting that the mayor may have even attempted to bribe federal investigators in an effort to derail the probe. These bribery rumors have only deepened the suspicion surrounding Henyard's actions, casting a darker shadow over an already tarnished political career. If the allegations are true, they would mark a significant escalation in the investigation, potentially leading to criminal charges and severe legal consequences for the mayor. One particularly troubling development involves Valeria Stubbs, a former trustee who has publicly accused Henyard of being involved in a violent attack on her home, though there is no direct evidence linking Henyard to the attack. The incident has become a focal point in the broader narrative of intimidation and retaliation that has come to define Henyard's leadership style. Stubbs, an outspoken critic of the mayor, believes the attack was a targeted act of violence meant to silence her opposition. The shooting that left Stubbs' house riddled with bullets is just one example of the growing climate of fear and mistrust that has taken hold in Dolton. As federal investigators continue to piece together the full scope of Henyard's wrongdoing, there are increasing signs that her administration may be at the center of a larger network of corruption. The ongoing inquiry is delving into potential bankruptcy fraud, obstruction of justice, and conspiracy to conceal criminal activity. The town's government, once regarded as a symbol of stability, is now being seen as a case study in how power can be abused and misused, with Henyard at the heart of the crisis. Henyard's leadership, characterized by intimidation, retaliation, and a disregard for public funds, has fueled outrage among Dolton residents. Many are now questioning whether the town's government can ever recover from the damage caused by her administration. With federal investigators closing in, the future of Henyard's political career seems increasingly uncertain. If the bribery allegations are proven true, Henyard could face significant legal consequences, including a lengthy prison sentence. The controversy surrounding Henyard's actions has only deepened as more revelations come to light. The mayor's apparent use of allies like Lisa Lacy and others to shield herself from scrutiny is central to the growing perception that the administration is built on deceit, collusion, and financial mismanagement. As the FBI continues its investigation, legal experts suggest that the full extent of Henyard's corruption may be far worse than initially suspected, with the possibility of additional charges and more shocking discoveries on the horizon. For Dolton residents, the ongoing investigation is a painful reminder of the broken system they are forced to endure. The trust they once had in their mayor has been shattered, and calls for accountability are growing louder every day. As Henyard fights to maintain control and evade the consequences of her actions, the future of the town remains uncertain. With the FBI working tirelessly to uncover the truth, it is becoming increasingly clear that Henyard's scandal-plagued administration is on the brink of collapse. The situation in Dolton has reached a boiling point, and many are left wondering how much longer Henyard can hold on to power. As the federal investigation continues to unfold, it is likely that even more damning evidence will be uncovered, further solidifying the notion that Henyard's leadership has been a disaster for the community. If convicted on the most serious charges, Henyard could face years in prison, potentially bringing an end to her political career and leaving Dolton to rebuild in the wake of the corruption and mismanagement she has left behind.
One day purchase of over $40,000 to Amazon. And the main thing is,
Since taking office in 1993, Mayor Tiffany Henyard has garnered praise from some Dolton residents for her initiatives aimed at supporting vulnerable groups, particularly the elderly and those on fixed incomes. However, her leadership has come at a significant cost, particularly for the town's blue-collar workers, who increasingly bear the financial and social burdens of her governance. Critics point to her extravagant spending habits, including costly events that many consider unnecessary and wasteful. A prime example was a lavish $85,000 community party that Henyard defended as beneficial for children, but which instead sparked widespread outrage and led to months of public calls for her resignation. This incident underscored the growing divide between Henyard's administration and her constituents. Despite the mounting criticism, Henyard has doubled down on her claims of improving Dolton, insisting she has cleaned up the community. However, financial evidence suggests otherwise. A study led by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot revealed a staggering $36 million deficit in Dolton's finances since Henyard assumed office in 2021, primarily due to reckless spending. The investigation uncovered extravagant taxpayer-funded vacations, first-class flights, luxurious accommodations, and tens of thousands of dollars spent on online shopping, all of which sparked outrage among residents. Further scrutiny revealed Henyard's attempts to sideline the Township Board of Trustees by organizing events without their approval, vetoing their motions to investigate her spending, and obstructing efforts to ensure financial accountability. Eventually, the board overruled her veto, leading to Lightfoot's comprehensive inquiry. which exposed severe issues within Dolton's administration and police department. It was revealed that 2 officers, including Deputy Chief of Police Lisa Lacey, a close ally of Henyard, had accrued overtime pay exceeding their base salaries, costing taxpayers an additional $200,000. Although Lacey denies any misconduct, her name continues to surface in connection with growing allegations of bankruptcy fraud and misuse of state funds. Henyard's financial mismanagement has continued unabated, marked by lavish parties and frivolous spending, all while the cash-strapped municipality can barely afford basic services. The revelations of reckless expenditures and a complete disregard for Dolton's fiscal health have left many residents feeling betrayed. Henyard's refusal to acknowledge the depth of the financial crisis she has helped create has only deepened the community's frustration and widened the chasm between her administration and the people it was meant to serve. Meanwhile, federal authorities, including the FBI, have reportedly resorted to electronic surveillance to investigate allegations that taxpayer funds have been used for unauthorized out-of-town expenditures, placing even more pressure on Henyard's already fragile leadership. Despite these mounting challenges, Henyard remains resolute in maintaining her authority, even as the foundation of her governance crumbles. Her unwavering defiance has led some to compare her leadership to a house of cards, with each new revelation adding to the growing instability. The lack of accountability within Henyard's administration, compounded by the enabling actions of her closest allies, has heightened the sense of an impending collapse. Residents of Dolton are increasingly questioning the sustainability of her unchecked power as they grapple with the consequences of her policies. While Henyard continues to present herself as a champion of progress, the evidence of financial mismanagement, widespread community dissatisfaction, and ongoing legal troubles paints a starkly different picture. As investigations continue and Dolton's financial challenges deepen, the town finds itself on a precarious path. The mounting pressure on Henyard's administration has left many wondering how long her reign can endure before the weight of her poor leadership decisions leads to a reckoning. The future of Dolton is uncertain, and residents are left anxiously awaiting the resolution of the crisis that has defined Henyard's troubled tenure.
Bring more information. They'll turn up more leads. They may turn up more witnesses. They may find a cooperator. They may find an informant, all which will benefit the investigation tremendously.
But based on what we know now, if you're Tiffany Henyard, how are you feeling?
Former trustee Valeria Stubbs has made shocking allegations that Mayor Tiffany Henyard may have been involved in a violent attack on Stubbs' home, an act she perceives as retaliation for her outspoken opposition to Henyard's leadership. Stubbs describes Henyard as a narcissist willing to go to extreme lengths to hold on to power, highlighting the toxic political climate Henyard has fostered in Dolton. In this environment, opposing her is seen as dangerous, with serious consequences for anyone who dares to challenge her authority. This chilling portrayal of Henyard as an intimidating and formidable figure fuels concerns that she may use extreme measures to silence her critics. As the federal investigation into Henyard's conduct gains momentum, it is expected that more witnesses and informants will come forward with critical evidence, potentially exposing a complete disregard for ethical governance. This inquiry has already shed light on several troubling aspects of her administration, not the least of which is her involvement with the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation, which was originally established to support cancer patients. However, allegations from a former assistant turned trustee point to significant financial mismanagement and the failure to make the foundation's financial records public. This has fueled suspicions that the foundation may have been a front for illegal activities, possibly diverting both public and private funds for questionable purposes. As federal authorities close in, many of Henyard's allies are distancing themselves from her, or they are becoming entangled in their own legal issues. Despite the mounting pressure and a growing list of legal troubles, including allegations of bribery, ongoing lawsuits, and increasing public criticism, Henyard continues to downplay the gravity of the investigations. It seems as though she is living in a bubble, convinced that she is untouchable, unable to acknowledge the full weight of her actions. Her unrelenting grip on power and her refusal to take responsibility paint a picture of a leader who will do anything to avoid accountability, no matter the consequences for the community. The facade of successful leadership that Henyard has carefully constructed over the years is now crumbling, and Dolton is left in disarray. Her administration is facing a financial collapse, compounded by the ongoing federal scrutiny and a series of scandals that have brought the town to the brink. Henyard's team continues to claim that the township's finances have turned around under her leadership, citing a shift from a $2 million deficit to a $6 million surplus. However, these claims have been met with skepticism and are increasingly being disputed in light of the ongoing investigations, which raise serious doubts about the validity of these assertions and further erode public trust. The growing discontent among Dolton residents has become impossible to ignore. The cracks in Henyard's administration are widening, and her refusal to acknowledge the financial mismanagement, combined with the legal and ethical crisis engulfing her and her allies, has left the community on edge. The people of Dolton are increasingly questioning whether Henyard will ever be held accountable for her actions, and many feel that the time for change has long passed. Federal investigations are continuing to uncover alarming details, including allegations of the misuse of taxpayer funds and possible connections to Henyard's foundation. Reports have surfaced of extravagant expenses, unauthorized out-of-town expenditures, and questionable financial practices. These revelations paint a broader picture of an administration that has become weighed down by its own scandals. Henyard's defiance in the face of mounting evidence raises the question of whether she genuinely believes she can hold on to her position, or if her defiance is simply a desperate attempt to cling to power. The divide between Henyard's self-promotion and the reality facing the residents of Dolton has become more pronounced. While she continues to boast about financial successes in public meetings, her recent presentation lacked the usual enthusiasm from her supporters.